the video lecture series of cryptography and network security. I am your instructor Dr. Ramesh Prajapati, and today we are going to learn the digital signature standard. So let's start with today's agenda. The first, digital signature standard. Second, there are two types of digital signature standard. The first is a RSA approach, second is a DSA approach, and third is a digital signature algorithm. So let's start with the digital signature standard. So the digital signature standard, before going to see the digital signature standard, first of all, what is digital signature? So digital signature, it is same as a handwritten signature, and it is the electronic verification of the sender. Now the digital signature standard means we have to authenticate the sender, and now the receiver is receive the message first. Before receiving the message, authenticate the message with the help of digital signature. So at the receiver end, the receiver verified the signature. So the message encrypted by the sender's private key, we can say that this is called the digital signature. User will not share their private key to others users. So that's why the sender is only send the message. So here there are different types of algorithm to authenticate the sender. There are two approach for digital signature standard. First is a RSA, second is a DSS. Right? So the DSS, digital signature standard, use an algorithm that is designed to provide only the digital signature function. It means in a DSS uses some algorithm, and based on this algorithm it provide the digital signature function. Now the in a previous session we have seen the SHA SHA 512, and in this DSS we will be use the SHA algorithm, and so the DSS makes use of SHA and present a new digital signature technique. It is called the digital signature algorithm. It means in the DSS algorithm we will be use the SHA and it present a new digital signature technique, and we can say that it is called the digital signature algorithm, and we can say that it is called the DSA. The DSA can't use for encryption or key exchange because we have seen the RSA algorithm. In RSA algorithm we have to use the encryption or the key exchange. In a previous RSA algorithm we use the encryption or a key exchange, but in a DSA algorithm we cannot use the encryption or the key exchange. Then the DSA is slower than RSA because in DSA we have required the lots of computation for authenticate the senders. That's why the DSA is slower than the RSA. The DSA selection process was not a public. It means if we use the RSA algorithm, so the RSA algorithm it is a public key encryption, and the DSA in the DSA it is not a public. The next is, let's see the types of the DSS. The first is the RSA approach. RSA approach, first we are considering the plain text message, and the plain text message to be signed is input to the hash function. It means that we apply the hash function on the plain text message, sign plain text message, and that produce the fixed length of code. Now this hash code, it means the fixed length code is also called the hash code, and this hash code is again encrypted using the sender's private key to form the signature. And as you know, in a RSA approach, RSA is a asymmetric encryption asymmetric key. It means that in a RSA we use the private key and this public key. It means that we are using a two key in a RSA approach. One is a private key and second is a public key. So here in this RSA approach again we are using a two key. Here the hash code is encrypted using the sender's private key to form a signature. It means that the we are applying the encryption on a hash code with the along with the sender's private key. After applying the encryption, it's generating a signature. Now let's see. In this figure, you can see the first we are considering our plain text message. Now applying the hash function on the plain text message, it's generating a hash code. Now applying encryption along with the private key of user A. PRA represents the private key of user A. So apply the encryption along with the private key of A on the hash code. After applying the encryption, it generates the one code. We can say that it is called the one signature. Now this encrypted text and the message is appended. Now it both the message and the signature are then transmitted to the receiver. Now receiver, here you can see in this first we are considering the plain text message and the signature. Now the receiver takes the message and produce the hash code. It means that the receiver apply the hash function on a signed message, it's generating a hash code. We are applying the decryption on a signed message. Now it generating a newly hash code. Now compare both the hash code. If both are equal, it means that the signature is valid. Now if the signature is valid, the receiver is accept the message. So this is the simple method of RSA approach. Now we will see the second approach, and second approach is the DSA algorithm. So before going to see the DSA algorithm, here the recipient also decrypt and signature using the sender's private key. Now calculated hash code matches the decrypted signature. If the signature is valid, it means both the code are valid, it means the signature is valid. Now receiver is accept the message. Here as you know, the only sender knows the private key, because the sender will not share their private key to different user. So the sender knows the private key and only the sender could have produced the digital signature. Now the second approach, the DSA approach. The DSA approach, again we are considering the message, applying the hash function on the message, it's generating a hash code. Now the hash code is providing as input to the signature function along with a random number k generated for the particular signature. Now the signature function also depends on the sender's private key and the set of parameters known as a group of communicating principal. We are considering some global public key component, and it represents as a PUG, right? And this global public key, it means all this public key are available for all the users who are on that network. Now the result is a signature consisted of two components. First is the label S and second is R. So let's see. In this figure you can see the first we are considering our plain text message and apply the hash function on a plain text message. Now after applying the hash function, it is generating a hash code. The hash code is input to the signature function. Now the signature function is also depend on the private key of sender, it means PRA, private key of sender, PRA, and the global public key component, it represents the PUG. It means this the few components are public, and these public components are available with the users, and all the users are in the same network. Now we apply the signature function along with the random random number generator key, means k, repeating the k, random number random key generator k, and the k is generated from this particular signature. Now we have input three things in the signature function. First, private key of sender, then public key component attributed PUG, the hash code, and the key. After applying the signature function, it appended with the message. Now in the result of this signature function, it generating a two component. The first is S and second is R. It labeled as a S and R, and M is message. Now in the receiver side, the receiver is verify the signature. So here the first apply the hash function on a message, then after applying the hash function, it generating a hash code. Now the hash code is input to the verification function. Now the two component, the two signature component S and R also input to the verification function. Now again the verification function is depend on the public key of sender and the public key component. It represents the PUC, and which is paired with the sender's private key. Output of the verification is value, and that value is compared with the signature component R and newly generated value. Now if both are equal, it means the signature is valid. If the signature is valid, after that the receiver is accept the message. So this is the scenario of DSA approach. Again I repeat, here we are generating a digital signature, because with the help of DSS, digital signature standard, we will create a digital signature, and the digital signature is generated by the sender and verified by the receiver. Okay, so here in the signature function we input two things. First, the private key of sender, second is a global public key. Now same in a verification also we are using a the sender's public key and the global public key component. Okay, so I hope you clear this idea. So this is all about the RSA and the DSA approach. Right? So same thing I have written. At the receiving end, the hash code of the incoming message is generated. The plus the signature is input to the verification function. Now the verification function is depend on the global public key and the sender's public key, and which is paired with the sender's private key. Now the output of the verification function is a value, and that is equal to the signature component R. The signature is valid. Now here in this signature function is such that only the sender with the knowledge of the private key could have produced the valid signature. It means who have the private key, that person could have produced the valid signature. That means the signature function is such that only the sender with the knowledge of private key could have produced the valid signature. Now let's see the digital signature algorithm, because we have already seen the DSA, digital signature algorithm. So if I want to create a digital signature with the help of DSA algorithm, so there are three requirements of digital signature algorithm. The first, generate the public key and private key, and second step, generate a digital signature from the sender side and verify the signature from the receiver side. Means the verify the signature by receiver, and after verification it accept the message. So this is the simple flow to generate the digital signature. So let's see the algorithm of DSA, digital signature algorithm. So first of all, we are considering the global public key component. Here we are considering the three global public key component. First is P, Q, and G, and this should be public. It means the all this global public key component is available for all users who are on the same network. Now the P is considered as a prime number, and its length is between the 512 and 1024, and the length is multiple of 64 bit. We are considering the second component, second public key component, prime divisor of P minus 1. Here the bit length of n bit, and if we are considering the our n is a 160 bit, it means the 2 raised to n repeated the 160 bit, so 160 minus 1, so which gives the 2 raised to 159, and 2 raised to n, it means the n is the 160 bit. The output of hash code, and size is a 160 bit. Now the n is represent the bit length. Now we will calculate the G. G is equal to h of P minus 1 divided by Q mod P, and the h is a integer. Here h is not a hash function, h is a integer, and the value of h is between the 1 and P minus 1, and the one restriction for h is it should be greater than 1. So these are the global public key component, and this all component will be available for all user who have on the same network. Right? So the next is, this is the first step. Now the second step, we have to create the user's private key. Now here we are considering the x, and it is the random integer with 0 less than x less than q, 0 less than x less than q. It means that x and x should be between the 0 and the q. Now this x is represent the private key of user A. Now based on that private key, we have to create the public key. So now the equation for public key is y equal to g raised to x mod p. G and P is the G and P are the public key component, global public key component, and x is a private key. Now user per message secret number. It means that you have to generate the key. The key is a random or pseudo random integer, and it's the k should be between, the k is a less than 0 and greater than q. It means the k should be in between the 0 and q. Now these are the key will be generated at center side. First user private key, user's public key, and the user per message secret number. It means we are generating a key, it means key. Now once the sender has created the public and private key, now the sender is created the digital signature. It means the sender will do the signature. Now here again we are considering some component. It means the first we are considering the R, and in the R we are considering the G, P and Q. These are the public key component, and K is represent the key. So the equation for R equal to G raised to K mod P mod Q. So this is the R and S. These are the two component of signature, R and S. So the S, now we will compute the S. So S equal to K raised to minus 1. That means the inverse of K, H of M plus XR. H of M, it means we apply the hash function on a plain text message, plus X is the private key of user A, and R it represent the one signature component. Mode Q. Now the digital signature is R comma S. So this is our digital signature. Now here you can see the same scenario in this figure, applying the hash function on a plain text message, and it's generating a hash code. The hash code is input to the signature function, and signature function also depend on the private key of sender and the global public key component PUG, and along and the random generating key. Now after applying the signature function, it's generating a signature, and the signature, now after applying the signature function, it's generating a signature, and the signature is apparent with the message. Now the result of this signature function is label. It's generating a two component S and R. Now again in the receiver side, the receiver applies the hash function on the message, so it's generating hash code, and the hash code is input to the verification function. Now the two signature component S and R is also input to the verification function, and the verification function is also depend on the private key of user A, public key of user A, and the global public key component, which is the pair of the sender's private key. Now after verification function, it's generating a code. Now this code is compared to the one component of signature R. If both are valid, it means it's generating it means the receiver has verified the signature. Now it accepts the message. So here we can apply the signing. Signing is done on the sender side. It means the sender will sign the document and send it to the receiver. So at the sender side, we will be generating a R and S, and this is the digital component. Now you can see in this diagram, the first we are applying the message, and the R is a function of K, and here we are applying the three public key component to finding the R, P, Q, G. P, Q, G, these are the global public key component, and K it represents the key. Now it's generating a R. Now same thing, the K is input to the S. That means you have to find the K inverse, and the hash function is also input on a S. That means if I want to find the S, so first we have to apply the hash function on the message, then the private key of X and R that represent the real signature component, mode Q. Now we input the X. Now we are inputting the Q also, because we are performing the mode Q. Now it's generating a S. So this is all about the sender side. Now in the receiver side, the receiver is verify the signature. So again we have required some component like W equal to S dash is to -1 mode Q, U1 H of M dash, it means we are applying the hash function on the message, and the W we have already calculated, mode Q. Next is U2 equal to R dash, and R we have already calculated, W is already calculated, mode Q. Now we are calculating the V, and V equal to G of U1. G is a public key component, global public key component, and U1 we have already calculated. Y is a public key of sender, Y of U2. Y of U2 is we have already calculated. Mode P, again we are performing a mode Q. So now in the verification we have to calculate the V. Now the V is equal to the R dash, V is equal to the R dash. It means the sender is verified. It means now the receiver is accept the message. The same scenario is over here. I already explained this thing, right? Then here you can see the M is message to sign, H of M, hash of M using the SHA1, and M dash, R dash, and S dash received the version of M, R, and S. M dash, R dash R dash and S dash, the received version of M, R and S, because M, R and S we have already calculated in the sender side and it's sent to the receiver. Now receiver is generating a new signature component and it represents the R dash, S dash and the M dash. Now the how to verify the digital signature. So you can see first we have to calculate the U1, U2, V and W. So here on M dash we are applying the hash function and it input to the U1, and in a U1 first we are applying the hash function on a plain text message and the W mode Q. Now we will calculate the W. So S dash is input to the W, it means the S dash inverse mode Q, and the input is considered as a Q. Q is a public key component, global public key component. Now the W is input to the U1, U2. Now again we input the Q on a U1, U2 and V. Now Q and R dash is also input in a U2 function. Now we are input the three things in a U1, U2 and V. First, Y is a public key of user sender, Q and G is a global public key component. Now after applying this, it's generating a V. Now we have to match the R dash and V. If both are equal, it means that the sender is a verified. It means this is the verified signature and the signature is verified by the receiver. Now I hope you clear this idea. Thank you.